So yeah, we installed this session here to give you an opportunity to ask your question, as Jeroen said, to our management. So be it product related, strategy, vision related, or commercial related. So we all have the decision makers here. And yeah, just, feel free to ask your questions. I collected a few of you, so you had some time to think. Maybe we start with them, if there is not instant questions now.
Stefan.
Okay, Stefan. Okay. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you.
So question goes actually to Annika and her presentation on Engagement Cloud. On one of the slides, you identified a couple of industry verticals, and I was wondering, is that limited to those that you're interested in, or do you think that's where you can make the most impact, or can you quickly explain how you chose those?
Okay, not expected. Okay, just for that are the industries that we know that have the better ICP. Of course, not restrained to that industries, but are industries that value a lot the generation of leads and value a lot or have this need to make smart moves on the digital space. And they have volume, they have the need, they are more easy to get. But the market is huge, and I would say that all the market needs digital marketing at this moment and the Engagement Cloud.
All right, thank you.
Maybe I can add something to that. So, yes, absolutely. It's also looking at what size of a portfolio view do you take. When we look at the entire portfolio, we're really talking about connecting digital to the whole calls and the engagement and all the channels. Not every industry is interested in having agents talking to people. But our first implementation that we just discussed with Renegade, where we have a content management solution and the Engagement Cloud solution, is for Enterprise Ireland, which is an island-based entity that helps Irish companies investing outside. They've got 40 offices around the globe to get Irish investments into companies outside of Ireland and stimulate trade that way. That's not on our ICP, right? But hey, they wanted to engage better with their customer. So they wanted to do more than just the website. They wanted people to give the opportunity to engage, to ask questions, get rich answers, etc. And that applies to pretty much every industry. But if you think of the bigger picture, the complete thing with call centers, etc., integrated, then it's what was on that slide.
Okay, thanks. Any more questions?
Just yeah.
Hey guys. So so we have seen a lot of great solutions built by partners. For example, the solution from Phoenix Contact Asset Management was really great. And so we partners, we have the know-how about the business processes at our customers. And we always want to try to scale up our business by doing what we have done for one customer, do it for the next customer, and scale these business processes we have implemented. So the question is about marketplace, yeah, right? So we already have a marketplace, but can you imagine that in the future we will have a marketplace which works more like a plug-in marketplace where we can offer our plugins which could be enabled simply by clicking a checkout button? So how are your plans about that?
So let me start and then hand over to Roy. I was really also impressed, like you were, like the solutions that the partners developed, the insights that they had, and the functionality that they added on top. It is impressive, right? It is much more than we can provide on our own. And we would love to basically make sure that that goes to more customers, that basically indeed we help you get that in front of other people. We see as a critical aspect that indeed the ability to activate extra functionality that not comes from CoreMedia but from someone else is crucial. And for that we are basically working on infrastructure for doing that, to make it easier, for example, that without updating CoreMedia itself, that you can activate plugins for in-studio, for example, with your own technology, that you can update them in the background, and that would enable what you basically mentioned, right? Because the opportunity then would be that you really have a marketplace where you can bring new functionality quickly to customers without too much hurdle. Roy.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot to be added. What we do see, especially in Content Cloud, is quite a lot of customizations going on very often. So that's something that we try to move more to the standard product, right, that we deliver, and then build customization APIs, and on top of that, or build micro front ends. This kind of technology we are investing in to make sure that when partners develop something, it can seamlessly integrate, right, and then it's also easier to manage the marketplace. I think we are not there yet. I think we can put more effort in there. I think there's huge potential as well. It's not the easiest answer, I must say. On this
But it's a topic that we have.
Yeah, it's a topic on the table, right? It's also, we can surely, we would love some help from some partners to really get it to the next level, I would say. Yeah.
All right. Then we have another question. Does somebody of you want to pose it directly? Should I read it out? Do you remember?
So a magic wand to add something, and what would it be?
If you had a magic wand and could add something into the product immediately, what would that thing be and why?
I would add, if you look what we currently are and where we move towards things like hyper-personalization, I would add a full-blown CDP with full-blown machine learning capabilities, like TikTok does, for example, that kind of level. Of course, we can do stuff with our own CDP, but it's more related to campaigns and interactions on the web, and but that's full-blown thing that can really, in real time, track data, process data, and give that would really be cool to have, right? And also in our storyline, because we are focusing, as you can see, with Kio on large language models, but there's a big thing behind it with machine learning, and we are not going in depth into that. So if you have a magic wand, it would be great, right? Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised in a couple of years that we would have it, right? But not by magic. Probably acquisition or so. But that would be absolutely something that that could really add quite some value to what we do. Yeah. My view, right?
Yeah. Oh, you want to have? You want to ask?
On that point.
Yeah. Sure.
With you saying that the trend's going towards, or in your imagination, would be hyper-personalization, how do you see the discrepancy developing between hyper-personalization and people actually not wanting to offer any information about themselves?
I think hyper-personalization will also be about doing the right thing in the moment, right? So more based on the behavior, where you look, what you're doing. So basically, you don't even need to give consent because we're seeing what you're doing, not tracking it. It's like TikTok does, for example, right? So you look at a movie and it says, "Oh, you like this kind of movies." You don't even ask, it just happens. So that's something that we could do. It's more about the real-time optimization. Of course, we can do things now, but now it's pre-programmed, right? So if this happens, then do that. But if you have a strong AI module, then it can do that on the fly, right? And come up with a good proposal itself.
Would add something, actually. Like, we work with these luxury clients. The truth is, there's a paradox for privacy. There is indeed this thing. Nobody wants to basically have someone walking behind them and writing, "What are you doing there? Where have you been?" So you don't want to be stalked, and nobody likes that, right? And basically, that is a rising awareness, not just in Germany, who had that for a long time because of the history, but in the US, in California, you have this kind of privacy as a value that is much more appreciated globally. Like Apple made it a big point of their positioning. At the same point in time, when you ask people, like, do you want to have a personalized experience? More than 50% say yes. And they say even, I switch to someone else if your thing is not personalized. The difference here is that, do you do it behind their backs, against their will? Or are you very open? So, hey, we want to be your best provider of services. Therefore, hey, if you answer these questions, we can personalize the experience for you. Or if you basically buy something, but you have to basically, indeed, get their permission, ask them really. And not this, like, oh, click here quickly, but more like, hey, you have to earn the trust. And then you have to basically live up to that you don't use that information then against their will and sell it to Facebook or whatever you do there. So I think there is a situation where my perception is, with a lot of the brands I work with, I want them to personalize. Like when I go to Apple, right? Apple support my app. how this works with your phone. Certainly they use my data and to promote the right things. And I would expect the same thing for every B2B customer, and actually mostly for B2C as well. It's just the way you set it up. Like, it has to be a trustful and thing that is for the customer.
I think that's actually a very fair point and a very good one. It's the same for me with commercials. You don't want to be penetrated with commercials, but if I see the value, I might click on it. Yeah. I think that's very good.
The problem is that we screwed that up, right? Basically, by spamming people, people are annoyed, and therefore there's this big reaction against it. But the truth is, in the future, I would like to have something on my device that is working for me, like a digital butler that takes care of stuff for me, that knows what I want, and makes sure that it's personalized. And let's sure we get there, but somehow I think Apple has in a good position for doing that. Maybe we can help as well.
Perhaps that would make a cookie banner less exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah, I still wonder, why don't they put this in the browser? The browser does it for me. Yeah, but well.
Okay, then I have another question here, and this is about entry-level license. So, would you, or have you been thinking about an entry-level license for small, medium businesses, or are you thinking about it?
No, we launched that today, right? Like, we announced that earlier. Martin did the 5,500 as an entry-level packaging. It's the same platform.
It's not particularly geared, of course, at small companies still yet, right? It's not. It's just for still sizable companies that have some form of ambition, as we call it, ambition brands. We still are very open and honest. If you have a static website and there's no transaction happening whatsoever, and it may even be in one country, there's better solutions out there for you. They're cheaper, they're simpler, use that. But if you are a brand with some ambition, some complexity, some transactions, some different locales, some internationality, etc., but you don't want to start big, or the solution right now that you have in place has a certain cost base that the step to a full-blown CoreMedia solution is a bit big, there we have an entry point solution that is, like Martin explained, it's not that we're trying to sell a car without wheels. No, it's a fully functioning car. But if you want, let's see if I can build on this metaphor. If you want airco, right? Okay, well, that's later on. Once we're driving, we're having fun, it's getting a bit hot, we can sell you airco as well. It's a fully functioning car.
Right. Anything to add to this?
So entry level is very interesting, and I'm pretty sure that there are some partners that run their own websites on tools like WordPress or something like that. And can you imagine that there will be some partner licensing because eating your own dog food is so important to get into the details.
There's a DocuSign going out to all of you once you're left. That's a great idea. No, I mean, we welcome that dialogue, absolutely. If somebody comes to me, hey, this is what if we'd have an open conversation about it, I'm a partner, this is what I'm using right now, this is what I'm paying right now, you don't have to give the details. Can we help each other? We'll help each other, for sure.
Yeah. Talking helps usually. Like, we are really open for discussions. When you have a special situation, let's talk about it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I have one here. What is the target market in which you want to grow most in the next 3 to 5 years?
You want to take that, Roy? No,
I'll make something up.
Exactly. I'll take the next product question just for fun. Look, we want to grow in all of our markets. There's absolutely, if I'm going to say one market now, it doesn't mean that we're neglecting any of the other markets. But it's the fact that we're present in North America. We have some amazing logos there. It's a massive market. We would love to grow a bit more there. The opportunity is just insane. However, at the same time, we still are very, humble about where we are. We've got some amazing customers, we've got amazing partners, but we're still a small company. There's still plenty of amazing brands out there in every single country that we're doing business. So if we look at our total addressable market, we're not worried whatsoever about any of the countries that we're active in right now.
Yeah, especially Europe has so many beautiful brands. Like, perfect. And now we have an even stronger part in Southern Europe. We also have some customers now in Brazil, right, in Latin America. So that's an interesting market, but it's not the core focus that we now all fly over to Brazil and say, hey, let's have a good time there. Maybe someday we have a partner conference in in Rio, right there when the carnival happens.
Yeah, okay. I think, Roy, this one goes to you because we had conversations about this one. How are you going to address the Accessibility Act in 25 with CoreMedia Content Cloud?
Oh yeah, so okay, we're doing quite some investigation currently with the team to, when we talk about UI, UX upgrades, there's a lot about also the Accessibility Act. And we're doing that. So we're investigating what needs to happen, and it's a big area of our investment. As I said, it's not only going to be about improving the current UI, but it's also like how can we integrate AI, Kio, right? These kind of things will also be there. But it's certainly something that we are investing in and investigating. Yeah.
Anything to add to that? Some more questions, explanations? Not sure where this comes from. Okay, then I have to translate this one in percent. How much artificial intelligence and automation against how much human touch should the perfect DXP platform have?
42.
I think what happened a little bit is if you compare to, for example, self-service at the internet, right? In the beginning, it was like, nobody understood that you could do all these things online. Same will be with AI. So slowly but surely, you start automating the simple use cases, the use cases nobody wants to do, and it will grow, and AI will get better at every new release. So at some point in time, there will be things where AI can just do a better job, than humans can, or it's a job that humans don't want to do. So the human interaction will become more specific, more personalized for people to give them the right feeling as well with what you try to achieve. But AI will take more over on this kind of thing. So it will start small. Like look at our use cases with Kio. They will start small. Like, can you tell me how Studio works? Or, can you do this and this for me? Up to, at some time, a couple of years from now, full hyper-personalization. Right, as Sören was explaining, this algorithm running in the background, analyzing your behavior on the web, making specific content for you, testing whether that really works, and there's a complete feedback loop. So that's also something we are working on the vision kind of thing that will take probably 3 to 5 years, and we're working on the basics right now in order to do that in the future. I'm convinced it will get there. It will. I don't know exactly how long, but that's what for sure will happen. Yeah.
So my answer, I like to take another step in it.
Yeah, that's good.
So my answer would be it's very unlikely that the answer to that question is 0 or 100. So when you have no human touch at all, the value of a little bit of human touch to add to your conversion is the biggest. Because just for the moments when people get they're about to buy and have a question, that's the moment when you want to have, okay, can we help you? Any question? A little bit of human touch will make a big difference when you are 100% automated. And the other truth is also there. When you have everything with humans, having a self-service portal for doing the simple stuff is also the biggest impact. So you are not at the edges, not fully human, not fully technology. It will be somehow further in the center. And we see that, right? I think this example with Mush Orange is so powerful, right? Because they know their stuff with digital marketing. They know their channel. They have everything kind of numbers driven, optimized, and it's a competitive market. They have Telefonica and other people there in the market as well. So they really have to be careful what they're doing, that they don't overspend. And their solution at the end was, it's really adding the other dimension to it and getting the balance right. That is, I'm pretty sure it will be further 90 to lower and not 20. So it's furthermore kind of adding the two sides together. So kind of in the middle.
So maybe it's also what we talked about earlier.
42.
It's the objective, the objective of each business. So do you want to introduce some automation or efficiencies that you want to cover with automation, or how much human touch do your visitors or buyers ask for? So it's
we had this conversation today actually about the German government with all these kind of forms you have to fill out when you apply for some subsidies. It's complicated, right? When you did this ever for whatever solar thing, you have to be an expert in kind of these forms and more forms and another form. And they figured out, can't we use a little bit of AI to to help with that, because the people that we have in the call center doing that, it's also expensive. So, and AI asking you a few questions and then filling out the forms for you is a very powerful use case that we will see certainly. So I think this example, right, like it will be digital and with a little bit of human touch.
Maybe this is a personal question from my side. So human touch, does this have to be, a real person? Or, I mean, Roy, you highlighted it early on that artificial intelligence introduces emotions, we have this with ChatGPT-4, so all of a sudden, artificial intelligence reacts emotional, so we could say this is, human behavior, and, is there a prediction, for example, if, these engines don't get, emotional, human whatsoever in the future?
So there are already these AI friends out there, right? Like you brief this thing and then it's a friend, you can chat with it, and it basically pings you and it writes something. And that was before the latest update. The latest update, I think you will have amazing, like Tamagotchi in the past, this little thing, just with, like, you talk to it and it remembers everything and it's very nice and it asks you questions and it's a coach, it's a guru, it's a kind of like that will be happening. I am pretty sure we will have a lot of people talking to an imaginary friend that lives in the phone.
I would get really nervous if I'm trying to buy something on a website and chatbot starts to flirt with me, and I'd be uncomfortable. But
I know that's the other two, but it will happen. I'm pretty sure we will see. I'm not sure that is then the one answer that we all like, but I'm pretty sure there will be some people who figure it out and have a nice conversation.
I also think there's a generation difference, right? So we are looking like Generation X on stage here, but if I look at my kids, my daughter's 19, they will never call a call center, never. They would maybe, send a message, maybe do Snapchat with them, but they would never call someone, right? So it's also like, and they are used to AI. I think for them it's really important figuring out, they don't care who says something, but is it the truth, right? Because they get so much information, they are like overwhelmed with a lot of stuff. So for them it's figuring out, does this thing, whether it's AI, they don't care, but does it say the right thing? And it can be human also. I really see also a difference where there's some hesitance with older people, like us. But there's like, the youth, it's completely different, right? Completely different generation and looking completely different at it. Yeah. So, yeah.
Interesting, and we're in the middle of it, so let's see how it develops.
Yeah.